So, without taking too much time now, I would like to request Mr. Purjit Das to kindly present his views on the topic, the relevance of Srimad Bhagavad Gita to humanity and present scenario.
Hare Krishna, dear friends, Samyak. Very nice meeting you again in this way. We're going to start by Lord Krishna actually says in the Bhagavad Gita, Kirtanya, what is that? Satatam kirtayantamam yatanta chadadavratam. The great souls, they are constantly glorifying Krishna. So here Maitreya Rishi Prabhu will lead the kirtan and then we have a little talk, if that's okay. Go ahead.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Asyachari Shatarine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Asyachari Shatarine
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Gauranga. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya
Shishi Gaurikai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Om.
Om Dinanandasya Gyanam Janashalakya Chakshanan Miridamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, has opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto His lotus feet. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So, once again, thank you for inviting me today at the occasion of the anniversary of the appearance of Swami Vivekananda, if I'm not mistaken. So, of course, I am not very familiar with Swami Vivekananda's teachings. I have not studied. He's not so popular in the Western countries, but I know a little bit. Because Swami Vivekananda was a disciple of another kind of an important personality, Ramakrishna, Paramahamsa. So I know that the philosophy this person was propounded, they call it the Yatamatatapat. In other words, all paths lead to the same goal. This is the philosophy I assume Vivekananda Swamiji was also propounding, since this was the philosophy of his spiritual master. So this is actually a good idea. It is not a bad idea to see all paths leading to the same goal. But we must also understand what it actually means deeply. There are so many paths, and ultimately, yes, they lead to the same goal. But at the same time, we have to be a little practical. For example, supposedly, now I manufacture some path. I say, let's say, my path is, please excuse, I'm going to use a little strong language, to kick on the face of Swami Vivekananda. Suppose this, I say, now this, my path is to kick on the face of Swami Vivekananda. So will it be accepted? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think sensible, sensitive persons will say this is not good. This path is not good. Right? Neither I think that Swami Vivekananda would accept such a path. So there must be some discrimination. See, there's always some discrimination. This is what makes us human beings. That we distinguish good from bad. Even Lord Kṛṣṇa says in the Bhagavad Gita, the demons, the Asuras, they do not know what is good, what is bad. They cannot distinguish. So there must be some kind of a standard. We have to have some kind of a standard, and that standard must be clearly delineated. In other words, it should not be vague. We should not make it a vague affair that whatever you think, whatever you like, whatever you feel. Feelings are deceiving. Sometimes we act based on emotion, on feeling, and we create disturbance. Sometimes we act on a logical platform, mental platform. And again, this creates disturbance. So if we want the real unity that we're all seeking, right? Because this is the idea. We should unite as a mankind. I see Samyak Prabhu, he advertises the Divya Karunya organization, very much connected with humanity, good for the humanity. So this is a very noble idea, but there must be a standard clearly delineated. Everything must be clearly delineated. So if I make my own standard, if you make your own standard, if everybody makes his own standard, this is actually the cause of all conflicts. You see, this is actually the cause of all conflicts, that we all have our own opinion, our own standard, and because my imperfect idea clashes with your imperfect idea, then there's argument, there's so many conflicts and debates and attacks and wars, right? So our humble proposal, as you know, the Krishna consciousness movement started by our spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who has started the worldwide spiritual revolution. He is the Acharya who has created an impact on the Western people, in the sense that the Western people, those people who are not familiar with the Vedic culture, have dedicated their lives to not only practicing this way of life, but also preaching and expanding the Vedic culture all around. The Vedic culture is not a sectarian culture, it is culture for mankind. This is the real culture. So our humble proposal is that let us make the Bhagavad Gita the standard. Let us make our Lord Kṛṣṇa the authority, the spiritual master. And let us accept the information from him. So Lord Kṛṣṇa, actually, this Yatama Tatapat philosophy is already presented in the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Kṛṣṇa says, Ye atamam prapadyanti tam sataiva bhajami aham mama vatmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. All of them, as they surrender unto me, I reward accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pratap. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Everyone is searching for Kṛṣṇa in the different aspects of his manifestations. Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is partially realized in his impersonal Brahma Jyoti effulgence, and as the all-pervading supersoul dwelling within everything, including the particles of atoms. But Kṛṣṇa is only fully realized by his pure devotees. Consequently, Kṛṣṇa is the object of everyone's realization, and thus anyone and everyone is satisfied according to one's desire to have him. In the transcendental world also, Kṛṣṇa reciprocates with his pure devotees in the transcendental attitudes, just as the devotee wants him. One devotee may want Kṛṣṇa as his supreme master, another as his personal friend, another as his son, and still another as his lover. Sorry, now I lost it. Kṛṣṇa rewards all devotees equally, according to their different intensities of love for him. In the material world, the same reciprocations of feelings are there, and are equally exchanged by the Lord with the different types of worshippers. The pure devotees both here and in the transcendental abode associate with him in person, and are able to render personal service to the Lord, and thus derive transcendental bliss in his loving service. As for those who are impersonalists and who want to commit spiritual suicide by annihilating the individual existence of the living entity, Kṛṣṇa helps also by absorbing them into his effulgence. Such impersonalists do not agree to accept the eternal blissful personality of Godhead. Consequently, they cannot relish the bliss of transcendental personal service to the Lord, having extinguished their individuality. Some of them who are not situated even in the impersonal existence return to this material field to exhibit their dormant desires for activities. They are not admitted in the spiritual planets, but they are again given a chance to act on the material planets. For those who are fruited workers, the Lord awards the desired results of their prescribed duties as the Yageshwara, and those who are yogis seeking mystic powers are awarded such powers. In other words, everyone is dependent for success upon his mercy alone, and all kinds of spiritual processes are but different degrees of success on the same path. Unless therefore one comes to the highest perfection of Kṛṣṇa consciousness, all attempts remain imperfect, as is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Akama sarvakamo vamokshakama udardbi tivrena bhakti yogina yajita purusham param. Whether one is without desire, the condition of the devotees, or is desirous of all fruitive results, or is after liberation, one should with all efforts try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for complete perfection, culminating in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. End of the purport. So, of course, we can interpret the Bhagavad Gita in various ways. But if we take the Bhagavad Gita as it is, if we take Krishna's word as it is, the meaning is clear. Sarvadharmam parityajya mam ekam sharadam brajam am tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masucha. Krishna, Bhagavan, Shri Krishna, he explained the jnana, he explained sankhya, he explained karma, he explained dhyana yoga, so many different processes. But at the end, he gives his final verdict: abandon everything and simply surrender unto me. Because if we surrender to Krishna, then all the perfection is there. In your karma, in your yoga, in your jnana, and ultimately bhakti. Bhakti cannot be without Krishna. That is nonsense bhakti. That is not bhakti. And bhakti means seva. Bhakti means service. So if we want to surrender, if you want to become servants of Krishna or devotees of Krishna, bhaktas, then we must also render service. And service must be to Krishna, not to the parts and parcels of Krishna. That is nonsense. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, this is mentioned in the 4th canto. Just like by watering the roots of a tree, all the branches are nourished automatically. Just like by putting the foodstuff in the mouth, all the bodily parts are nourished, satisfied. Similarly, by rendering service to Kṛṣṇa, Bhagavan Shri Kṛṣṇa, everyone is satisfied, everyone is served. There is no need of separately watering the branches. That is not a high-class intelligence. This is not how the tree is watered. Similarly, it is not a high-class intelligence if I put the food in my eye, in my ear, in my anus. That is very low-class intelligence. Simply I put the food in the mouth, it goes in the stomach, the foodstuff is distributed to all the parts of the body. This is Bhakti Yoga. This is Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So there is no need of separately serving one's country, one's family, the poor, the sick. This is all nonsense. First of all, you cannot serve because the spirit soul doesn't need the service on the bodily platform. You are not serving. If you supply foodstuff to the poor, you're not serving the poor because we're not this body. The poor or rich or sick or healthy, this is the condition of the body. You're simply helping the bodily situation. You're not helping the spirit soul. The spirit soul can only be satisfied by connecting in devotional service to Kṛṣṇa. Yatma suprasidati savai pumsha paro dharmo yato bhakti adokshaje aituki apratiyata yatma suprasidati. The soul can only be satisfied, this is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, by unalloyed aituki apratiyata, a service that is unchecked, that is uninterrupted, to Kṛṣṇa. That is the real satisfaction of the soul. So we should distribute this transcendental knowledge of Kṛṣṇa, of the Bhagavad Gita. This is better service. We don't deny that serving the poor and serving the sick and so on is a noble act. Definitely, it is noble. But it doesn't serve the real interest of the spirit soul. And that is why it is a waste of time. See? Similarly, it is not that by, let's say, worship of the demigods, that I worship Shiva, I worship Ganesh, I worship Indra, I worship Brahma, I worship Kali, and so on. I go to the same goal. I reach the same goal. This is not what the Bhagavad Gita says. Kṛṣṇa says very clearly, Antabantu palam tesham tad bhavati alpamedasam devan devayajayanti mad bhaktiyanti mamapi. Man of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods. But my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planets. Srila Prabhupada comments, some commentators on the Gita say that one who worships a demigod can reach the Supreme Lord. But here it is clearly stated that the worshippers of demigods go to the different planetary systems where various demigods are situated. Just as a worshipper of the sun achieves the sun, or a worshipper of the demigod of the moon achieves the moon. Similarly, if anyone wants to worship a demigod like Indra, he can attain that particular god's planet. It is not that everyone, regardless of whatever demigod is worshipped, will reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is denied here, for it is clearly stated that the worshippers of demigods go to different planets in the material world. But the devotee of the Supreme Lord goes directly to the Supreme Planet of the Personality of Godhead. Here the point may be raised that if the demigods are different parts of the body of the Supreme Lord, then the same end should be achieved by worshipping them. However, worshippers of the demigods are less intelligent because they don't know to what part of the body food must be supplied. Some of them are so foolish that they claim that there are many parts and many ways to supply food. This isn't very sanguine. I've explained this point previously. Can anyone supply food to the body through the ears or eyes? They do not know that these demigods are different parts of the universal body of the Supreme Lord. And in their ignorance, they believe that each and every demigod is a separate god and a competitor of the Supreme Lord. Not only are demigods part of the Supreme Lord, but ordinary living entities are also. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the Brahmanas are the head of the Supreme Lord, the Kshatriyas are the arms, etc. And that all serve different functions. Regardless of the situation, if one knows that both the demigods and himself are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, his knowledge is perfect. But if one does not understand this, he achieves different planets where the demigods reside. This is not the same destination the devotee reaches. The results achieved by the demigods' benedictions are perishable because within this material world, the planets, the demigods, and the worshippers are all perishable. Therefore, it is clearly stated in this verse that all results achieved by worshipping demigods are perishable, and therefore such worship is performed by the less intelligent living entity. Because the pure devotee engages in Kṛṣṇa consciousness in devotional service of the Supreme Lord, achieves eternal blissful existence that is full of knowledge. His achievements and those of the common worshipper of the demigods are different. The Supreme Lord is unlimited. His favor is unlimited. His mercy is unlimited. Therefore, the mercy of the Supreme Lord upon his pure devotees is unlimited. End of purport. So, it is very important that we understand the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And this will resonate with the youth of today. The young people are sick of hypocrisy. They want the real thing. The people, as they grow up, they get more and more corrupted in this world. This is the nature of this material world. So young people, they have some sincerity in the sense that they're not yet polluted. So if we present the Bhagavad Gita message to them very nicely as it is, according to the conclusion of the bona-fide acharyas, then there will be tremendous response. And that's what happened in Srila Prabhupada's times. Srila Prabhupada came in 1965, one man from India. And within the period of 12 years, he established 108 temples, 10,000, so many disciples, all trained nicely in Brahminical behavior, learning the shlokas from the Bhagavad Gita and presenting the conclusion, the Siddhanta, very nicely. So if Srila Prabhupada could do this, we should follow his example. All right. So I'll stop at this point. Thank you so much.